A man spent $2 on an old space container and found 8 shocking alien beauties inside. Ethan Cole wasn't a rich man. He wasn't even a particularly lucky one. At 32, the best he could manage was a cramped apartment above a mechanic shop and odd jobs repairing junked Starship panels. His life ran on recycled coffee, grease-stained hands, and half-paid bills. Which was why, when he stumbled into the junkyard auction on the dusty edge of Port Vega, the last thing he expected to do was place a bid. Lot 47, the auctioneer barked. Unmarked cargo container. No registry. No contents listed. Starting at 2 credits. 2 credits. Less than a sandwich. Ethan didn't know what possessed him. Maybe boredom. Maybe curiosity. Maybe the way everyone else ignored it, too busy haggling over engine cores and plasma rifles. His hand went up before his brain caught up. Sold, to the man in the oil-stained jacket. The crowd chuckled. Someone muttered, paid good credits for an empty coffin. Ethan just shrugged. It wasn't like he had much to lose. The container was a dull gray block, scorched with age and sealed shut. He dragged it back to his workshop with a borrowed grav sled. The lock was ancient, a rusted mechanical latch instead of a digital code. He pried it open with a crowbar, expecting to find nothing but dust and maybe some rotting fabric. But when the seal hissed and the door cracked, a wave of icy vapor rolled out, chilling his skin. Inside were pods. 8 of them. Sleek, crystal-shelled cryo chambers glowing faintly blue. Ethan froze. What the hell? Each pod contained a figure. Slender. Feminine. Beautiful beyond anything he had ever seen. Their skin shimmered faintly, silver, emerald, violet, sapphire, like stars caught beneath their flesh. Their hair drifted in liquid suspension, long and flowing, curling around shoulders and alien curves. They wore barely their garments of metallic threads, like ceremonial wraps rather than clothes. His breath caught. These weren't corpses. The pods were still humming, still alive. 8 alien women, he whispered. Locked in a container. Bought for 2 credits. He should have called the authorities. He should have sealed it back up and pretended he never saw it. But Ethan was no fool. On Vega, the moment word got out, the container would vanish into some corporate vault, and he'd never know the truth. Worse, whoever these women were, they'd be sold, studied, dissected. He crouched by the first pod, brushing frost from the glass. Her eyes fluttered beneath closed lids, lashes long, lips slightly parted. She looked almost human, except for the faint constellation of glowing freckles across her skin that pulsed like starlight. Who left you here? He murmured. A soft beeping caught his attention. The pods weren't just idling, they were failing. Power cells blinking low. Damn it, Ethan cursed. You'll die if I don't. He didn't know what he was doing, but instinct and maybe a little desperation took over. He rerouted emergency power from his workshop batteries into the pods. The hum steadied. The blue glow brightened. And then the first pod hissed open. The vapor cleared, and she stepped out, stumbling like a newborn fawn. Ethan rushed to catch her. Her skin was cold, smooth, glowing faintly beneath his hands. She blinked up at him with eyes of impossible gold, irises shaped like twin galaxies. Her voice was musical, trembling. Who are you? I'm Ethan, he said quickly, steadying her. You were locked in that pod. I found you. Her gaze darted around, fear and wonder mixed. Weeks survived. The other pods began to stir. Lids hissed. One by one, 7 more women emerged, each different, yet equally breathtaking. One had sapphire scales dusting her cheeks, another bore wings folded tight to her back, shimmering translucent like a dragonfly's. One's hair flowed like liquid metal, while another's body radiated faint warmth, as if fire lived in her veins. They huddled together, whispering in a language Ethan didn't know. Then the first woman turned back to him. "You freed us," she said. "You are our savior." Ethan swallowed hard. Look, I bought this container for 2 credits. I had no idea." Their golden-eyed leader smiled faintly. "Then fate was kind. We are the Aurealis. Exiled. Hunted. If not for you, we would have perished." The next hours were chaos. Ethan scrambled to find blankets, food, anything to help them adjust. They devoured water and nutrient bars, unfamiliar but grateful. They touched everything, his tools, the walls, the flickering holoscreen, marveling like children. But beneath their beauty, Ethan sensed fear. One of them, tall, with emerald skin veined with light, whispered, "The hunters may come. They always come." He frowned. "Hunters?" The leader nodded gravely. "We were cargo, stolen from our world, to be sold, used. But in rebellion, we were hidden away in this vessel, left to drift until you found us." Ethan's stomach twisted. He didn't want to imagine what fate awaited them. "You're safe here," he said firmly. "I won't let anyone hurt you." But safety on Port Vega was a fragile thing. Already, rumors spread fast. By nightfall, Ethan noticed shadows lingering near his shop. Curious eyes, whispers of alien girls, and the mechanic's miracle find. The next day, trouble arrived. 3 men barged into his workshop. Scrap dealers turned thugs, armed with shock batons. "Cole," their leader sneered. "We heard you picked up something special at the auction. 8 somethings. Hand 'em over, and maybe we'll let you keep your teeth." Ethan's pulse spiked. Behind him, the women stood together, eyes wide. He squared his shoulders. "They're not for sale." The thug grinned. "Then we'll take 'em." He lunged. What happened next shocked everyone. The sapphire-scaled woman raised her hand, and a wave of shimmering force hurled the thug across the room. Another unfurled her insectal wings, beating them once, sending the other 2 sprawling. Golden eyes blazed like suns. The thug scrambled out, cursing, too terrified to look back. Ethan exhaled shakily. "Remind me not to piss you off." The women exchanged faint smiles. For the first time, their fear eased. Days turned into a week. Ethan hid them as best he could, but 8 alien women were hard to keep secret. They helped him in return, mending machines with strange technology, healing his old scars with glowing hands, filling his dull life with laughter, warmth, and wonder. One night, as the stars glittered above Port Vega, the leader sat beside him on the rooftop. Her golden eyes shimmered softly. "You risk much for us," she said. Ethan shrugged. "Didn't exactly plan this. But I couldn't just leave you." She touched his hand, fingers cool and delicate. "In our culture, to awaken one from cryosleep is to bind your fate to theirs. You are part of us now, Ethan Cole." He blinked. "Part of you?" Her lips curved in a smile. "1 man, 8 Aurealis. A bond of gratitude, and perhaps more." His heart raced. For a man who'd spent most of his life alone, the thought was overwhelming. But as he looked at them, these radiant beings who trusted him, who had chosen to stay by his side, he realized he didn't want to go back to his empty life. Of course, nothing stayed hidden forever. A week later, a corporate skiff landed in Port Vega. Word had reached the syndicate. They came armed, ready to seize their property. Ethan stood in front of his workshop door, shotgun in hand, heart pounding. 8 figures stood behind him, eyes glowing with power.